Welcome back to the last daily rundown of the week. I'm Dan Morfitt, and with me tonight is Stephen Armstrong and Ruth E. Cockburn, who's just asked if she was flashing anything. No, you've got leggings on. You're fine. You're fine. This is a family show, so. Right, our next story today is about leaflets, pamphlets and special deliveries. David Cameron has said that he will make no apology for spending more than £9 million of taxpayers' money on pro-EU campaign. Now, he spent £6.4 million on leaflets, which are going to be sent to 27 million homes, with the rest of it going towards advertising. He says that it's money well spent, whilst Boris Johnson says it was crazy to use so much money of the taxpayers on a very biased and hysterical campaign about the risks of leaving the EU. Now, obviously the governments think leaflets really work, but do we even pay attention to any of them? Or do they just go in the bin with the pizza flyer? Ruth, are you bothered?
I've done a lot of Edinburgh shows and I've done a lot of flyering over the time. I imagine you've done flyering as well, and I've seen a lot of people put things in the bin. I don't know what printers they've gone to if I spent 9 million. I might have ended up with more than just 7 in my Edinburgh show, but still.
It's less of a flyer, more of a pamphlet.
Pamphlets, pamphlets.
So it's at least a threefold thing.
Right, okay.
Probably
terribly
full colour,
sorry.
just to make it look pretty.
Yeah. But I mean, it's wrong. I don't agree with it.
So you don't agree with the leaflets, or you don't agree with the pro-EU stance that the government's taking? Which way is it?
I just think it's just a little extravagant.
Do you think we're being taught enough about the benefits of leaving the EU,
but I think it's talked about
staying in the EU
too much in a way, because it's really boring. I've heard an awful lot about it and still don't know any more.
Well, maybe this pamphlet's there to help
It's not. What can that do? What's that going to do? Really?
That could help in a game of charades. You'd be able to tell that you were miming a book.
That's not.
You reminded me there a little bit of Lisa Goddard on Give Us a Clue.
But no, I mean, one little pamphlet isn't going to sway you. If you're kind of swithering and I've seen a flyer. Well, I mean, yes, a Domino's pizza, yes. Oh, there are other pizzas available.
Yes.
I think the referendum though is happening on a Thursday, not a Tuesday, because you get 2 for Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
You get 2 votes. No, that's election fraud.
2 pizzas.
Right.
Tuesday.
Oh.
Well, are you going to look at this pamphlet with interest?
No.
And just go, well, that's money well spent. Thanks for telling me something in the
They're just going to have a list on it. That's all they're going to have.
I think the pamphlets will mostly not get read. They will be put in the bin. I think that
used to put lists on, depending on what colour it is.
Yeah, used in all kinds of things other than reading about it. This is a really difficult situation for me, because every way I turn, I'm simultaneously really depressed and ecstatic, because either way, you either upset David Cameron or Boris Johnson. And either way, you either make David Cameron or Boris Johnson
as well.
Well, they are, but they're like the bobbleheads at the head of the argument.
Isn't that the problem, though? That this leaving, pro-staying in the EU has become a fight about personalities rather than procedure and benefits.
And really, it's just to stop us thinking about everything else, because it's not. I mean, yes, it's important and all that stuff, but there's a lot of other things to be worrying about.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's a lot of money to spend on one particular view.
The referendum itself is going to cost even more.
Yeah, but as Ruth said, there's a lot of information out there, and I don't get the sense that anybody is any the wiser. It just seems to be
there's no definite.
Yeah, it seems to rotate between a group of people saying we should join in Europe, a group saying no we shouldn't, a group saying well if this happens then this will happen. We just don't know. It does seem a little strange that we are having a campaign where the no campaign is saying no we should come out of Europe. But were they similarly saying to Scotland when they had their independence referendum, no, you go away? So it seems that we're just passing it down. If we personally, I felt if Scotland wanted to independence, it's their decision. We shouldn't lead one way or the other. It's the same with Europe. I think that people should be given that information. Personally, I think information that's given to me by the government automatically has a faint smell of the shady about it.
Automatically, you don't trust it because what other good stuff comes? I think the last major leaflet drop that we had in the UK was protect and survive, just in case the Russians drop the nuclear bomb. So it's got to be important for them to send something out, but at the same time, you just got to leave it for their own agenda, aren't you?
Yeah, and I mean, is this been produced on recycled paper? You know, I mean, have they done it?
Going in there, yeah.
If we're
giving
dolphins. Well, yeah, and also we are massively. There's this great debate that seems to be just headlines, and it seems that most things are done this way nowadays. You know, we're moving towards the text voting for everything. It just seems that everything nowadays is not about the actual fact. It's about the appearance, the image, the spin, which is why I think that, you know, if you look at, you know, for instance, I mean, I'm not a Labour supporter, but if you look at Jeremy Corbyn, one of the things I like most about him is it doesn't seem to be about the image, it seems to be about the message, and this just seems to be about the image, and it just seems to be a way of talking heads. Okay. We should get more of the information out there.
Whether you get the pamphlets, and it is a pamphlet, I love that word, pamphlet. Whether you get the pamphlet through and you read it, or you just put it straight in the recycling bin, it'll be coming through your door very, very soon. Moving on to our next story. According to a pair of specialists, too many children are being incorrectly diagnosed with asthma, with inhalers being dispensed for almost no good reason and becoming fashion accessories. They warned that although steroid inhalers are life-saving when used properly, their side effects should not be ignored, and they call for more objective, careful diagnoses. In the UK, about 5.4 million people currently receive treatment for asthma. 1.1 million of those are children. Meanwhile, charity Asthma UK says better tests are urgently needed. So, what do we think of this story? Did you have asthma inhalers when you were young?
No, but they were always cool. Everyone loves a gadget, don't they?
They were cool. Did you have one?
Yeah, I had a Ventolin and an Intal.
Did you have the spray one where it was shake, or did you have the clicky one where you put the little tablet in, you clicked it, and then went?
My friend, I had both.
Yeah.
I had both, and later in life, and then both later in life, I had the blue one that you snapped up, and when you breathed in, it sounded like a whirling machine.
No, I had one of those as well.
Worth being unhealthy.
It looked like a Nokia phone from the late 90s.
It was fantastic, but I just think that, like Ruth said, it was inhalers, braces were cool.
Braces. I broke my arm, and it was dead exciting because I get a plaster and everyone can write in it. Everyone wants a gadget. Having crutches. That was cool if you go to school with crutches.
It is one of those things, though. Kids definitely need them, and some kids need them. But I remember growing out of asthma and then not really having... I've had a couple of asthma attacks since, but I don't think it was asthma. It could have been other things.
Yeah.
I
think generally people want to be able to cure themselves. If you go to the doctor and you're given lots of tablets and this, that and the other, some people want a quick fix. But I think on the whole, generally people would say, I want... some.
But do you think doctors are maybe too quick to diagnose because it's one of those things? But you know, more kids than ever before are told they've got peanut allergies, but have they?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe.
But an asthma can save a life. A Snickers bar probably couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've turned into one of those people as an adult. I've got allergies and I hate it because I used to bully people at school that had those. I'm a nice person.
You used to be a bullier.
I wasn't a bully, I'm nice. I went, not properly bully, just gently tease.
You used to just take their medication away from them and run just out of range. Yeah, just to go around stealing all the gadgets of all the children.
If these inhalers are fashion accessories, why is that such a bad thing then? Because surely it just destigmatises that people have different illnesses. No, but people have different problems. Yeah. So it's quite nice that if you've got an inhaler, rather than someone bullying them, it just comes out that...
It wasn't, it was just...
You know, they leave them alone because they know what it's about, and then kids realise that people have different ailments to deal with every day of their life.
But if you're constantly drugging children up with stuff, then they're always going to need it. I mean, if you're a child, generally what you should be doing is being as healthy as possible and getting yourself out, not yourself, but if your parents give you healthier food. And I mean, like it was the youngest known case of type 2 diabetes recently. It's like under 5 or something ridiculous, which is awful. You think that's just...
But that could be a kidney complaint. Depends if it's diabetes 1 or diabetes 2.
2. It was 2. So it was not being mean, but it's like the cake one. And
Stephen, do you think fashion accessory?
I think they could be, but I mean, I wear glasses now as an adult because as a child I thought they looked quite funky and I lied at the opticians, and I've given myself an eye problem. I've
so
made
you forced
myself
yourself to wear glasses?
Yeah, I've essentially bullied myself.
I was a glasses wearer, and now I wear contact lenses.
On that, for someone who's wearing contact lenses, a very cool blue pair of glasses, me with my Michael Caines. It's time for another break. Next, we'll be talking about pay cuts and potholes, all in a bit on the Daily Rundown.